How about them Cowboys? Pretty sure it's a law that anytime your team beats the crap out of the Cowboys, it feels that much better because they have the most annoying fan base in the NFL. But the Broncos knocked off the visiting Dallas Cowboys 17-7 in Nathaniel Hackett's first ever game as a Broncos head coach. Yes, it was just preseason. But the way I like to spin preseason is this. If your team wins in preseason, a win's a win. Now, if your team loses, different conversation. It's only preseason. So we're going to run through this game, give you my takeaways and whatnot. I've got 5 kind of big storylines coming out of this that we're going to break down along with the latest injury buzz out there on players like Jonas Griffith. But, hey, a win is a win. So if you are excited that the Broncos started the season off in the win column at Mile High in front of the best fans in the NFL, comment "Let's Ride" down below. So my first notes and takeaways from this game is Josh Johnson. See QB2? You know, there's got this backup quarterback battle right now between Josh Johnson and Brett Rippon. Johnson started the game, played the whole first half, and after a bit of a shaky, rocky start, he settled in. I mean, he was fantastic. His last 10 throws were completions, all of them, including 2 touchdowns. He was great, going 16 for 23, a $172, 2 TDs. I loved what I saw from Josh Johnson. Hey, it is preseason football. It is expected to be a little bit of a cluster, you know what, out of the gates. You're going to have some penalties. You're going to have some growing pains, and that's perfectly fine. That's why you have preseason football. But the second quarter, the Broncos really took off under Josh Johnson. Now, the second half was Brett Rippon. So this is the other side of the story. The QB battle to be Russell Wilson's backup, who, by the way, did not play as expected, along with pretty much every other starter. And we'll talk more about that later on. But Brett Rippon finished the day going 8 for 18, 113 yards. He was fine. He was playing with the third stringers and whatnot. In fact, interesting enough, his center was Graham Glasgow. They moved him to center. So I thought that was kind of interesting right there. I don't know, a little nugget from the game. But Rippon was clearly the second quarterback today behind Josh Johnson. Now, before we get to some more takeaways from this game, if you are looking for a Broncos YouTube channel, I'll quickly ask you to subscribe to this channel right here because we are less than 500 subs away from 9,000 strong. So please go ahead and click that sub button if you have not already. Next note from the game, the battle for the wide receiver 5 spot. Hey, this is preseason football, okay? No Jerry Jeudy, no Courtland Sutton, no KJ Hamler. You got to watch the backups play. And it's still compelling if you are a big football fan and you like to see the roster battles towards the end of the 53-man roster. Now, when we look at this wide receiver depth chart, we know Sutton, Jeudy, Hamler, and Montrell Washington are all locks for this roster. Doesn't matter how they perform in the preseason, they are making the roster. It's between Kendall, Hinton, Tyree Cleveland, who missed this game with a throat injury, Brandon Johnson, Seth Williams, and another UDFA, Jalen Virgil, for wide receiver 5 and maybe 6 if Peyton wants to bring 6 receivers on. Now, the game against the Cowboys we just watched, we saw some fantastic play from these bubble candidate receivers. Kendall Hinton was great. He had a nice touchdown grab. He beat the cornerback in the corner of the end zone, high point in the football. Loved what I saw out of him. Seth Williams also scored a touchdown. Day 3 pick in 2021 NFL draft. Didn't see much of him last year. He's definitely having a good start to the preseason. And then you got the new guys, Brandon Johnson and Jalen Virgil, both UDFAs who made great plays and really extended drives and stretched the field. I liked what I saw out of all 4 of these players. I think 3 really jumped out when Josh Johnson was quarterback because you were at least going up against the Cowboys' second-string DBs versus their third-string DBs. So if you had to pick a wide receiver 5, who would it be? Was it Brandon Johnson, Kendall Hinton, and Seth Williams? I know that I'm nerding out a little bit here, but stick with me because it's preseason football, baby. when Jerry Jeudy and Sutton and Hamler aren't playing, we got to look at other things. And right now, we're checking out some other guys on the roster. My next note from the game, Nathaniel Hackett sat everyone. And I mean everyone. In fact, it would be more difficult to show you a list of all the starters who didn't play. So I'm going to do the opposite. Here are the 4 starters who did play in today's game. Jonas Griffith, and we'll have the injury update on him later on. Sucked to see he went down on the second or third play of the game with an arm injury. Never what you want to see. Malik Reed, again, he started today. He won't be the starter when Randy Gregory comes off the PUP list, okay? Albert Okwuegbunam, he started as well. Now, Greg Dulcich did not play with a hamstring injury. They may have just wanted to get another tight end on the field. It's not like Alberto really has to prove a roster spot or anything like that. And then Calvin Anderson, he is the starter as long as Billy Turner's on the PUP list. Now, Anderson is out here wanting to hold on to that job even after Turner comes off the PUP list, because it's not like Billy Turner is this Pro Bowl right tackle. So Anderson absolutely playing for a lot. I thought he played all right. Didn't play all that much after the first half. I mean, after the opening couple series and whatnot, but he was not weighing this offense down. Before we get to the rest of the news and notes from today's game, there is a great deal going on right now at Fanatics. You can get not one, but 2 Broncos shirts on sale, 40% off. It's the legendary T-shirt combo. Head on over to chatsports.com/Broncos combo. That link is in the comments and the description of today's show. Should have said this earlier, but I've got a bit of a hoarse voice right now because I was sick and I am still feeling a little bit under the weather, so just bear with me. I don't want to miss this game though for the first preseason game. Come on, can't miss football. But Montrell Washington, he was as advertised, okay? We knew he was going to be a return specialist coming out of Samford. What we didn't expect to see was him develop so much and so quickly as a wide receiver. Now, we didn't get to see too much of him in the receiving game. Had a nice catch early in the game, but in the punt return game, which is what he was brought in for, he showed up. Punt return stats don't do him justice. You know what I mean? 2 returns for 45 yards. That's great, right? If you see that, you love to see that. But it was better when you watched it. I mean, Montrell Washington definitely looked like a player who can elevate this special teams unit that needs a bit of a facelift after last year. Next quick note I've got from this game here, Baron Browning, he was awesome. When they made the move from inside linebacker to outside linebacker for Browning, I questioned it because this team had so much depth at outside linebacker, but so little depth at inside linebacker, didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Now I see why they did it, right? Now I see why Hackett and Payton's in charge, and I'm on screen on the YouTube channel. But Baron Browning against the Cowboys, he had some great plays. I mean, it's only preseason, so you don't get to see a huge volume of these players. Now, having said that, he did play all 4 quarters, which is rather interesting because most coaches sit players once they've seen enough, and Baron Browning showed enough early in the game to prove yep, I am definitely better coming off the edge. But maybe Hackett said, you know what? You got to get more comfortable in this position. We'll roll the dice on any injuries, and let's keep tossing you out there. 4 tackles, a sack, 1 for loss, and a pass breakup. I mean, Baron Browning, he looked fantastic coming off the edge tonight. All right, here we go. Unfortunately, we do have some injury news here. Jonas Griffith, he left the game very early on in the first quarter with a left arm injury. I'm going to check Twitter right now as I'm filming, so a little behind the scenes here, but no update from Hackett on the extent of that injury. He was able to walk off the field under his own power, so that is great to see right there. Delaren Turner-Yell, the safety from Oklahoma, he left the game and entered concussion protocol. Hopefully he is okay, but altogether, the Broncos came out of this relatively healthy. I mean, no one was carted off, and no one was lost for the season, it appears like. I appreciate everyone for tuning in, making us a part of your day. Enjoy the win. Hit that subscribe button. We'll see you guys tomorrow with some Broncos winners and losers.